My name is Raphael Branton, and I did an internship with the Australian social enterprise Project Everest Ventures in the African country of Malawi. And I learned a lot professionally from my internship, but I also learned a lot personally, and I also have some tips that I think would be really useful for future Global Challenges students. So firstly, professionally, I learned how rapidly changing startups are. As a testament to that, I set some goals in the first week of my project and within of what I wanted to achieve across the entire month. And by the second week, only one of those was still relevant. And it really just shows how rapidly changing with new information startups can be. And I think that's the advantage that they have over larger corporations. As a contrast to that, however, startups take a long time to knuckle down those elements of the lean canvas that you learn about in second year, whether it be the problem that you're trying to solve or the corresponding customer segment. It really takes a lot of time and effort, a surprising amount, to validate each of those individual elements. Separate to those two learnings, I realized how useful it is to be able to recognize your strengths and weaknesses as an individual, and also how important it is to be able to articulate those to the people that you work with in an organization. So I spent a lot of time surveying during my internship. I realized at some point I'm pretty bad at building rapport with people when I'm surveying them. And it wasn't until I could recognize that weakness that I was able to articulate it to my supervisors and get dedicated feedback I needed to improve. And that was a negative realization I had about myself, but also had a lot of positive realizations about myself. So moving into my internship, I had the assumption that I was not very good at leading teams, that I wasn't very good at delivering feedback, and also that I wasn't someone who could build up initiative to do tasks uninstructed. And it wasn't until a few weeks in I realized that I was actually quite good at doing all of those things. But what was restricting me in the past was just a fear of failing if I really applied myself in those areas. And it was so useful to be able to realize that, because it was only through that that I was able to improve moving forward. And I think the reason I was able to learn so much was that I did my internship in a foreign context in a different country. And that brings me to my tips to future Global Challenges students. My number one tip is do an internship overseas if you can, because you'll learn so much more, even if you're doing the same work that you were doing in Australia. And you'll learn a lot about how challenges can be solved, not just in a domestic context, but also in a global context. And my second follow-up tip would be just put your hand up for everything during your internship, because you'll learn so much. You'll get some amazing opportunities if you really look for those opportunities, but it can be easy for them to pass you by if you're not looking for them. And that's all I have to say. So thank you very much, or as Malawians would say, Zakomo Kombili.